Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to my channel. This is Paint with Lovejoy. Thanks so much for joining me today. This series of videos is going to be perfect for my first time painters. And my first time painters are those of you that have never painted before, or this is your first time painting at home. This is going to be my Monet series. There's 3 videos in this series and I recommend trying each one of them. And again, it's just going to get you comfortable with mixing your paint and applying your paint to the canvas. So in this video and all the videos on my channel, in the description box below, there is a link to a supply kit, and those are all the supplies that you need for this particular video. And that link down there to where you can purchase your own, you can purchase them from Amazon or an art store. If you want a kit shipped to you, I do offer that as well, and that's going to be a link below in the description box. You'll pick your project from there. You can pick this video, and all your supplies, canvas, paints, brushes, traceable, everything is mailed directly to you. So check out those links below for your supplies. So like I said earlier, this video is for first-time painters. And as you get more comfortable with the painting process, I want you guys to go to my main online school, paintwithlovejoy.com, and check out my Paint Your Pet class. After you get a little bit more comfortable, my Paint Your Pet class is geared towards first-time and beginner painters, and you're gonna learn about your value scale, and it's a core foundational art skill that you can apply to anything creative in the future. So as you're getting creative, just take it one step at a time and just have fun with the process. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, anything, please feel free to email me or reach out on the Facebook group or leave a comment on this video, and I try to respond to all the social media outlets in the morning and evening of every day. So I do my best to get back to your comments as quickly as possible. So enough talking, let's jump right into painting and start having some fun. Alright guys, this is going to be another fun painting featuring a Monet painting. So gather all your supplies, head on over to where you have your setup, make sure you turn on your favorite music, and as always, make sure you take your progress photos. Now once you've transferred your traceable to your canvas, we're going to move right into painting. So we're using that medium flat brush, and we're going to do a mixture of yellow and white, going for kind of a lemony yellow color. And we're going to start kind of around the perimeter of our outline on there. And you can see that I'm using the brush kind of at the side width and just going right above my horizon line, kind of around the structure. And we'll do a little bit below the horizon line since we will have a reflection on the water. Now, if you're one of my first time painters, take a deep breath, relax. We're going to kind of be creating some abstract shapes. And all I want you to do is do your best to mimic what you see me do on the screen. It does not have to be an exact replica, and it does not have to be perfect. All you're doing is getting comfortable with your brushes and with mixing paint and completing a painting in a short time frame. So if you have to mix your yellow and white a second or third time, don't stress about getting the exact same shade every single time. And you can see I'm just kind of filling in that space from the horizon line to kind of about 2 inches below the top of the canvas. Doing the same thing on the other side of the building. Again, remember to breathe and relax. I'm proud of you for painting at home. And if you are using student grade paint today, you may notice that it's a bit on the transparent side. So I encourage you to apply your paint a little bit thicker. You don't have to be sparing with it. I know it feels kind of odd and awkward, but apply it a little thicker and it will help your process. So now we're going below the horizon line, just kind of mimicking the shape that we created above the horizon line. And kind of just put that perimeter about 2 to 3 inches from the bottom of the canvas, and it's not a straight line. And then just kind of filling in that space below the horizon line to that area. And we will be overlapping with other colors on here. And this is an impressionistic painting, so it doesn't have to be exact. Just kind of go for the general area with kind of these warm sky and reflection on the water. So go ahead, pause the video, take your progress photo, and we're going to move into more of our straight yellow. And we're going to be painting right on top of the lighter lemony yellow we just applied. Again, applying your paint kind of thick. You can blend in a little bit with that base coat. You are just getting comfortable with your brush and with the pressure of painting, the pressure of your brush, and just relax. You're doing great. You are strengthening your power of observation by observing where I place some of these colors on the canvas, and then you do your best to mimic that to the best of your ability. And we are starting from our light, warm colors, moving into our darkers. So we'll be adding a little bit of orange to our mixture. That's our next step. Right here, just adding a touch of orange to the mixture we were already using. So it is your white and yellow plus a little bit of orange. And that gives us kind of a sherbety color. And as we're applying this to the canvas, I'm just kind of making little dots. You can make yours dash marks or dots, anything you want. If you want to do this in finger paint, go right ahead. But you're learning about your warm colors, and you're learning about your brush making, your mark making, and just going through the process of painting. Hopefully you will find that while you are focusing on this painting today, that you kind of forget about the world outside of your four walls that you're at. And that is probably one of the best aspects of painting, is forgetting that the world exists just for a little bit of time. And here you can see I'm using a bit more of the straight orange. It's getting a little bit darker, bringing that down to the horizon line. And you can see I'm actually painting kind of thick and just using little overlapping dots and dash marks. All right, pause the video, take your progress photo, and we're going to move into a little bit of red. We are kind of using that, slapping it a little bit directly on top of the orange, and you can see that it's going to mix a little bit with it. And this is going close to the perimeter of our building and on our horizon line, and then we will be putting a little bit of it below our horizon line. I am doing this painting rather swiftly, so my prior colors are still wet. If you happen to take a little bit longer, a little more of a relaxed approach, that's okay. You could actually do this painting multiple times, and maybe one time you try it super fast, another time you try it a little bit slower. And again, you're just getting more comfortable with how the paint reacts, how it kind of dries out, how it works when you've got a lot of thick and crazy paint on there. Your brain is taking in a lot right now, so be patient and be kind to yourself. All right, you can see I actually wiped my brush off a little bit, and I'm going back and doing a little bit of blending because my paint is still so wet. And again, using kind of a light pressure, you can get a bit of a smoother consistency and you can blend your two colors. Or if you use a little bit more pressure, you'll have a bit more of your brush strokes that show up. Play with both and find what is comfortable for you. I tell all my students in my studio class that I want you to be an adult kindergartner. And basically the only adult part is driving home responsibly. But otherwise, while you're painting, I do want you to just kind of relax, be a 5-year-old again. And here you can see I wiped my brush off again, and I'm going into the lighter yellow paint. So if you're blending in a darker area and you go into a lighter area, you do want to make sure you clean your brush, and that way you can avoid bringing that darker color into the lighter color. So pause the video, take your progress photo. You're going to grab a little bit more of that red and make it a little bit bolder around the building and in below the horizon line. All right, you do want to clean your brush really good after this. Now we're going to move into blue and white. And we're going to be putting this in the remaining portion of our canvas. And if you are painting rather swiftly and your yellow is still wet, you do want to be cautious as you bring your light blue to meet your yellow. Because if you remember, yellow and blue make green, and we are going to try to avoid some green in our background here. We're trying to keep it just that warm color with a little hint of a blue sky. So if you want to wait for your yellow paint to be dry and then do your blue, that just makes it a little bit easier. If you don't wait and you happen to get a little bit of that green, just wipe it off with a paper towel and reapply your blue. And we're going to go to the bottom of the canvas, do the same thing, because again, this is the reflection on the water. All right, you're doing a great job. I'm really proud of you. You're an awesome abstract painter right now, because this does look kind of abstract. And go ahead, pause the video, take your progress photo. And we're going to be going back to that kind of yellowish white with a little bit of yellow, and going back to kind of that perimeter, overlapping that blue a little bit because my blue is slightly dry. And again, anything that you need to adjust where your blue and your yellow are meeting, go ahead and do that. If you don't need to do this step and you're happy with your transition from your yellow to blue, just fast forward the video just a touch. You're doing a great job. All right, pause the video, take your next progress photo, and you're going to clean your brush, and we're going to go to blue and red. We're going to make our dark shadow silhouette color. And Monet had actually trained himself not to use black, so he would use different colors to make his darker shades. And it was something I was trained in school too, to not use black, but I have not doing that. You'll see other videos where I use black paint. All right, and we're filling in that building, and you don't want to have any of that white space left. So if you do need to overlap your background a little bit with this, go right ahead and do that. And again, if you're using student grade paint, I do want you to apply this a little bit thicker, so that way we don't have any see-through areas, and that we've got full opaque coverage. If you need to move down to the small pointy brush, go right ahead and do that. You're doing a great job. And you'll see a few places where we're going to be going over the background and defining more of the edge of the building. All right, do take another progress photo as we're moving along here. So now I'm down to the small pointy brush, and I'm going to kind of reshape the perimeter of this building that we're looking at from a distance. So again, just utilize your power of observation, pause the video more if you need to in places, and just observe where I'm adding some of these small details. You're doing great. If you have to make your color a second or third time, just needs to be in the general area. It doesn't have to be perfect. All right, and here we're going to actually be going right below and kind of mimicking the steeple. And remember that below our horizon line, this is actually the river, so it does not have to be perfect. It's going to be kind of choppy, and we will go back in and add some more details and make it look a little bit more like a moving water and more closer to Monet's original. So again, these are just little dash marks, kind of keeping them on a bit of a horizontal mark making. And if you think about below the building, on top of the water, there is a reflection. So we're going to be adding some of that reflection below the horizon line, and then a few more small details around the area. All right, another spot to pause the video and take a progress photo. Still sticking with the same color. We're going to be adding those little dots, and we're going with horizontal little dash marks below the horizon line. And a few of these tiny little refreshing details, and my background's pretty dry by now. So if you want to, before this step, let your background fully dry, it will make doing some of these smaller details a little bit easier. Remember to breathe and just relax. Monet was what we call a plein air painter, meaning he took his canvas and easel and paints and he painted in oils and set up on site and painted what he observed from nature. And the challenge with painting from nature and painting in real time is that the light changes as the sun moves across the sky. So impressionist and plein air painters actually paint rather quickly to capture what they are looking at. And then if they go back and work on a painting after that initial phase, then a lot of times they are painting from memory. In today's current world, they sometimes are even painting from a photograph. But plein air painting is great training. So as you get more into your creative process, maybe see if that's an avenue you want to go down and give it a try. All right, so as we mix this color, still same thing, and doing those reflection lines below the horizon line and filling in my building a little bit more. And here you see I grab a bit more of that red. It's still got some of the blue mixed in with it, but giving a bit of a warmer section to our building. And you'll see in a minute where I actually grab more red and add it on top of the building with the color that's already on there. And I am doing this while both of my layers of paint are still wet. There we go. There's a little bit more of that straight red, slapping it right on top of there. And again, it just kind of helps break up that solidness of the building and give it a warm feel. All right, and taking that red, and we're doing these kind of horizontal dash marks below our horizon line, again, because this is the river, and we've got a bit of a reflection going on. And now we're going to be working our way backwards to our light colors. So now we're making a reddish-orange mixture, still using that small pointy brush, and we're going to be doing these overlapping horizontal little dash marks. And most of this is going to be going below the horizon line. Again, this is just giving the indication that we've got movement, some water happening here, and it's reflecting the sky above. And you don't have to fully overlap these because that's why we kind of put our base colors on first. And again, get in that habit of looking at your painting from that distance and then coming back and painting more on it. Just so that way your brain is kind of seeing it at that normal viewing distance range, which is generally 3 to 10 feet away. So now we're using orange, and again, just working our way towards the bottom of the canvas and overlapping some of these colors. When we get into that yellow-orange, we'll use that quite a bit. And a lot of times making these kind of dash marks is a very meditative, very relaxing process. So just get lost in the movement that you're doing right now. And remember to breathe, relax. I don't want you thinking about work or drama or social stuff. Just focus on your painting. All right, pause the video, take a progress photo. Now we're going to be moving to our yellow and orange. Again, just working our way backwards through our colors. And you may need to adjust yours because now you can see where we're a bit more on the yellow part of the background. And if we put that same shade on top of the yellow, we don't have as much of a distinct difference. So if you need to add a bit more orange to your mixture, so that way it stands out a little bit more on top of that light yellow, go right ahead and adjust your color. You're doing good. A lot of the Impressionists painted with these little dots, these little dashes, and what they were doing was observing the way light and color play together. And a lot of times you'll notice to where some of the light yellows overlap into the oranges and the reds, and this was their way to kind of translate that on a visual level. All right, so we've moved on to yellow. Still doing the same thing. We're overlapping a little bit of that bluish water, kind of pulling it into the oranges and overlapping above that. Again, just play with this section as we're filling in the space. If you happen to make more marks, more dashes than I do, that's okay. If you end up using different colors than I use, that's okay too. Just the fact that you're painting, that is successful. All right, you can see I'm overlapping some of that yellow on top of that light blue at the bottom. Still kind of giving the indication that we've got this rippling water below our horizon line. All right, take another progress photo. You're going to clean your brush really good, and we're going to go back to that white paint, and then we're going to go back to some blue and then to a light blue. So with this white paint, this is kind of as the water is moving, some of the white caps that the water is making on the river. And again, they don't have to be in the exact placement that I'm doing it, but just get in the general area. And if your paint is still wet, feel free to apply your white paint a little bit thicker. And if you happen to place some of this white paint in a place you don't like, just let it dry and go back to your other colors and paint right on top of it. All right, now we're going to move into straight blue. And we're going to go right below each one of those white lines that we've made. Kind of again, those white lines were the white caps, so the water's moving. And what we're doing right now with the blue is the shadow right underneath the white caps and in a few other random areas. Again, when you look at your painting from a distance, the bottom half should give a hint that there is water there and that there's some different movement compared to above the horizon line and in the sky. All right, so now we're moving into light blue, which is your mixture of white and blue, and still following along, making these longer horizontal lines, giving an indication that the water is moving. And putting that light blue in a few other areas, and if you're inclined to put these light blue water ripples somewhere where I am not, go right ahead and add that to your painting. Again, this is a great painting for my first-time painters, and I'm really proud of you for painting at home. Don't let this be your only painting. I do want you to do more and keep getting comfortable with the process of painting. Now, I think there is one spot, yep, right there, that I didn't quite like how bright that was, so I went back to my reds and oranges and just placed right on top of that light blue. So if there's any space that you added something and you don't like it, just go back to those original colors and go right on top of what you painted earlier. All right, guys, great job. Thanks so much for painting with me today. I hope you enjoyed the process, and I look forward to painting with you in the future. Cheers. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the process of paintings, and I hope your paintings turned out really nice, and I hope you are very proud of yourself. I am proud of you for going along the process, for conquering something that was kind of scary and realizing hopefully that's not as hard as you thought. So please try to find a creative outlet for yourself on a monthly basis. You just get better and better with more practice. And as you're uploading your pictures and videos to social media, please tag me at paintwithlovejoy or hashtag paintwithlovejoy. And if nothing else, please email me your pictures of what you paint, paintwithlovejoy@gmail.com. It truly makes my day every time I receive those emails, and it gives me motivation to continue to make these videos for you. So let me know how you're doing at home. When you're ready to kind of paint your pet and take it to your next level, check out my online school for Paint Your Pet, paintwithlovejoy.com. And any comments, questions, concerns, leave a comment, send me an email. Like I said, let me know how you're doing. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to paint with me. I'm honored. I look forward to painting with you in the future. Cheers. And like always, subscribe, wait for that. Series of videos are for you. Let's do that again. Gotta wait for the plane.